This video covers notes 19.3 over adding and subtracting radicals. So first, before we get into that, let's review how we simplify. This is what we've been doing the last few days. First thing you always want to try is if you do the square roots in your calculator, make sure they don't work nicely before you start breaking them down. So 190, I see it ends in a 0, so I'm going to try something like a 10. So 10 and 19 would work. Now 19 is not going to be able to be broken down any further, but 10 is 2 and 5. However, those can't be broken down any further either, so this one actually cannot be broken down at all. For the square root of 75, we double check and it does not work nicely. 75 ends in a 5, so I'm going to start with 5s and we get 5 and 15. 5 can't be broken down, but 15 is 5 and 3. So that would leave us with a 3 and 2 5s in the square root. Remember, we look for pairs and the pair comes outside. And we do a quick check. 5 square roots of 3 is the same set of decimals. And then the square root of 98 does not work nicely. 98 is even, so maybe I try a 2, and 2 does work, 2 and 49. 49 breaks up into 7 and 7. So I have 2 times 7 times 7. So we take out the 7s, we leave in the 2, and when I double check, 7 square roots of 2 is the same decimal. Okay, so our steps are listed right here. In order to add and subtract radicals, you simplify if possible and then combine like terms. What that means is they have to be the same square roots in order to combine. So for example, number 1, we have 4 square roots of 7 and 5 square roots of 7. Because these have the same square roots, they're both square roots of 7, we can add the numbers in front. 4 plus 5 is a total of 9. So all in all, we have 9 square roots of 7. You can also double check the ugly decimals on these in the calculator. You would start by typing in what you have originally. And then we've simplified that to 9 square roots of 7, and we get the same decimals. Number 2, these are both square roots of 11, so 8 minus 2 is 6, and then we just leave the square roots of 11 on the back. For number 3, we're going to put our square roots of 3's together, and then separately our square roots of 2's. So square roots of 3, we have 7 minus 1 for a total of 6 square roots of 3. And then for my square roots of 2, I have 2 minus 3 for a total of -1 square roots of 2. So you're just combining the square roots that are the same, put those numbers that are in front together. With this one, it wouldn't matter if you rewrote it this way. The order, The order doesn't matter. So you can write it either way as long as you don't combine things that are non-combinable. For number 4, we have square roots of 6, 3 plus 5 for a total of 8 square roots of 6. For the square roots of 13, we have nothing else that will change that, so we just leave it as -2 square roots of 13. For number 5, these square roots are not the same. However, we need to see if we can simplify this 192 first. So if I double check in my calculator, the square root of 192 does not work nicely. Now, we know there's a chance that it could be a square root of 3 at the end. So I'm going to see if it's divisible by 3. Whoop. Sorry. And that is breaking up into 3 and 64. 3 I can't break down. 64 is 8 times 8. So we have 5 and an 8 being taken out, a 3 being left. So we really have 40 square roots of 3 And then I'm going to bring this down like I see it. So minus 7 square roots of 3. And then 40 minus 7 is 33 square roots of 3. And again, if you feel like that gets a little complicated, double check your square roots, what you start with, and then what you end with. And I have the same ugly decimals. So again, I'm just breaking this down, the 192, I'm breaking it down. A hint in adding and subtracting is you're probably looking for a square root that's going to be the same so you can combine the square roots. Once you've broken this down and simplified like we've been doing the last 2 days, then you combine it with the other one. So again, on number 6, I have 5 square roots of 3 minus 2 square roots of 75. I can't put these together based on the square roots we have right now. So I'm going to see if 75 is divisible by 3. And it is. Again, there's a chance that these square roots are going to be the same. So I'm looking whatever my other square root is, if that one's not breaking down. Like I can't break down the square root of 3. So see if you can break down the other one and have a 3 there. 25 is 5 times 5, so I can take out the 5s. So I had a negative 2. I'm taking out the 5s, and I'm leaving the 3. And then I'll just bring that front part down, just like I see it. 5 square roots of 3 is going to go in front. So in front, 5 square roots of 3 hasn't changed. 2 times 5 is 10. So I have 5 square roots of 3, and I'm taking away 10. So that would leave me with a negative 5 square roots of 3. And again, do a quick check as that finishes loading. So here's what I started with. Here's what I've ended with. Same ugly decimals. Okay. And then 2 more on the back. So problems 7 and 8 are going to be ones that we have to simplify a little bit more. So just make sure you're keeping your work organized. The square roots of 2, I cannot simplify this at all. So all I'm going to do for right now is rewrite it at the very bottom to make sure I don't lose it. 27 is divisible by 3. So that breaks up into 3 and 9. 9 breaks up into 3 and 3. So I had a 2 out front. I'm bringing out the 3s, and I'm leaving in a 3. So that simplifies to 6 square roots of 3. And again, I'm putting the most simplified version at the very bottom, so I make sure I don't lose anything. And then 98 is probably going to be a 2 or a 3, because that's what I have right now. I have 2s and 3s in square roots. So 2 and 49. 49 is 7 and 7. So we already had a negative 3. We're taking out a 7 and leaving in a 2. So that's negative 21 square roots of 2. And one thing you can do before you continue on is double check these square roots. Make sure you've simplified them correctly, especially since we have square roots of 2 and square roots of 3. So I've simplified the middle one and got the same answer. Negative 3 square roots of 98. Negative 21 square roots of 2. Same simplified square roots. So now for my final answer, these will go together. So the square roots of 2 is what I just circled, and it's taking its time. So 25 square roots of 2 minus 21 square roots of 2 for a total of 4 square roots of 2. And then this guy, the 6 square roots of 3, has nothing to combine with. So we'll leave that like we see it. And again, double check your beginning and your endings. So here's what I started with, and I'm saying it simplifies to this. And same decimals. So I've started and ended in the same place, but I've ended where I'm supposed to. So for the last one, the square roots of 3 and the square roots of 6 are not going to be able to be simplified. So again, I'm going to write them at the very bottom so I don't lose them in the simplification process. So then with 48 and 54, I know I'm probably looking at 3's or 6's somewhere. So 48, if I try to take out a 6, I can. I'm left with an 8. 6 is 2 and 3. 8 is 2 and 4. 4 is 2 and 2. So this one has lots of pieces. I'm going to rewrite them. I have 4 2's and a 3. And just a review from the other day, you can always double check that you've rewritten everything correctly by double checking that square root. Okay, so we were saying that you can always double check what goes under the square root. If you plug these in, make sure they get you back to the original. And then remember, I'm looking for groups of 2. So there was already a 2. And I'm taking out 2 groups of 2 and leaving in the 3. What goes out front, the 2, 2, and 2, all get multiplied together to be 8 square roots of 3. And then for 54, I could try 2 or I could try 3. 3 gets me to 18. 18 is 3 and 6. 6 is 2 and 3. So I have a negative 6 out front, and then a 2 with 3 3's. So I have a negative 6, I'm taking out a 3, and I'm leaving a 2 and a 3 in the square root. So that's negative 18 square roots of 6, and again, that's just the simplifying part that you've been doing the last 2 days. So now combine your like terms. We have 7 square roots of 3 and 8 square roots of 3 for a total of 15 square roots of 3. And then we have negative 4 square roots of 6's and negative 18 square roots of 6's for a total of negative 22 square roots of 6's. So the main idea here is if you don't already have similar square roots, simplify to see what you can, and then combine square roots that are the same.